So other than, existential dread and overall depression, I, interestingly enough, A, was craving watermelon, and B, forced Pierre to be my chauffeur to take me to Trader Joe's to buy said watermelon. And when we were driving back, I saw this couple tandem biking. And mind you, where I live and like where Trader Joe's is, it is not really biker friendly. So A, it was just, the scene didn't fit the environment, number one. And number two, I haven't really seen a tandem bike in like years. And then I was like kind of looking over at Pierre and I was like, would you tandem bike with me? And he kind of looked back at me and he was like, are you crazy? And I was like, maybe I am. And then I was like, I actually don't know if I would even be into tandem biking. Would you and Mark be into tandem biking?
So Mark and I have tried to tandem bike. First of all, I love a bike. I do. But no, so one of my best friends, Morgan, she lives in Florida, and her husband and her parent, like they all tandem bikes. They have multiple tandem bikes like at their home. And so when we went to Florida, we were like, cool, we're all going to, ride bikes wherever we were going. And they tandem bike because Morgan is a princess. Yes, I called you that. And I know that you know that anyway, so I don't care. She is a princess and she like doesn't want to bike herself anywhere. So her husband does all the work basically on the bike.
But like, how does that happen? So like she just puts her feet there and then just lets him do all of the resistance and she just casually with her feet, or does she like, there's no place for you to really put your feet other than on the pedals, right? When you're tandem
biking. If I had
biking.
to bet, yes, that's exactly what happens because she rides in like heels and shit. So, but they were like, cool, like do you and Mark want to try a tandem bike? We were like, of course we do. So Mark and I got on the tandem bike and let's just say, it did not go well. We could not get our stride. We almost fucking crashed into like a tree, a car. It just, I don't know. The crazy thing is that then Clay got on the bike with him and they rode fine. So Mark and I ended up taking our own separate bikes, for the record. They're a lot harder than you think. And at first I was like, oh my God, is this like a euphemism for our relationship? Are we going to get divorced? Like it was like very scary. I was like, this is not normal. But
wait, but could it be of the like length difference between your legs? Because you're taller than Mark.
No, I'm not. I look taller than Mark because I have long legs. He has a very long torso.
So that's what I was going to say. Okay. So it's the leg length. That's what I think makes a big difference, right? Because I was talking to Pierre about this because like Pierre's taller than I am, but also I think we have like same height torsos, but like his legs are longer. And so I was thinking about it in regards to the logistics of the tandem bike, because this is where, of course, my fucking brain goes, where I'm like, well, I don't know logistically if it'd work out because like by the time that my legs make a full loop on the pedals, like your legs would still be trying to finish that loop because your legs are longer. So that's probably why the stride was struggling, because each one of you has to be operating at a different speed.
No, because your pedals are connected. It's one chain, I think, right? So
yeah, I know
you just end up on the same, but like one person goes slower, one person goes faster.
Exactly. But then also one person, I think it's the person with the shorter legs is most likely the one who has to put in more resistance because it's the taller person that would have to go faster. I don't know. Whatever the logistics would be.
I assure you, there's no way in hell Morgan is putting in more work than Clay is in this tandem bike. So I think a lot of it takes practice. It's number one, but I also just think it takes, I don't know. I would say communication. I think Mark and I have good communication, but apparently not on a bike. But also, I think in general, we just have different perspectives on like motorized vehicles.
That's true. That's also very true.
Anyway, it didn't work for us, but they seem very fun. But I do love a bike. I love a bike ride.
So I don't mind bike rides. I have like one horror story. And I think like ever since then, I've just been very hesitant to get back on a bike for long distance rides. I was in Mallorca with an ex at the time, or he was current boyfriend at that time, ex now. But he and I had like planned this whole like getaway to Majorca, and he was like, yeah, let's do like a bike ride from like our part of the island all the way to the other part of the island. I was like, yeah, this is like such a great idea. And we go to this bike shop, and, you know, I'm thinking, I've got like, you know, I'm heavier set, I've got a heavier bottom.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like, okay, I'm going to need like a nice little gel cushion because, you know, like bottom heavy, I'm going to need some of that comfort. And I'm thinking that that's like all I'm going to need on this bike ride. Lo and behold, it was like a 17 or 20 mile bike ride. And it's like on a slope, like on an incline. Like on an incline to get all the way to one side of the island. And then of course, like another 17 miles back. And I like, let me tell you, that night,
Tour de France? Like, no, fuck
Tour
that.
de fucking France. I was dead. Like I couldn't like sit properly. I couldn't sleep like on my back because my ass was hurting so bad. I was in so much pain probably for a good week after that. Oh, let's say good 3 days after that. And ever since then I've been like, fuck bikes. I think you even saw it too. And I like decided to do like a test run on your Peloton. I was like, PTSD.
Oh my God. I hate the Peloton. I haven't been on that fucking thing in like 6 years.
Well, you're also on the Pilates game.
Yes, I was so skinny when I was into the Peloton. I got to get back into that shit. But yeah, no, I love a bike ride. I think my like maximum is like 7 or 8 miles in a day on a real bike. On a Peloton, that's like nothing. That's like 20-minute class, but on a real bike, like 7 or 8 miles round trip is literally where I draw the line. But I do love a bike ride. They're so nice. They're scenic. You're working out, but they're cute and they're fun. I don't know. I just love them.
Fair enough.
Tandem bikes I cannot do.
Yeah, I haven't done one. I just saw it today and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Because I feel like you don't see tandem bikes other than like when you're on like a vacation spot or like more of a coastal area where like bike riding is like more scenic. So to like see a tandem bike, I think where I live, which it's not ugly out here, but you know, it's like bigger streets. We have like highways, freeway, you know, like it's not. It
is a little riskier for sure.
It's riskier, 100% riskier. So I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. Tandem bikes. Anyway, on that note, I think we should get started on BBQs.
Yes. We've got a lot to cover today.
We
guys
really do. Okay. So
not sleep on us this week.
They really didn't. God damn. So for those new and OGs of the podcast, this is our basic bitch quickie segment where we essentially go over top headlines of the week, viral hits, TikTok trends, whatever it is that's like in the news cycle, and pretty much give our top of mind thoughts about them. And so, you know, as we mentioned earlier, we got a shit ton that we've pulled. So I'm excited to get started. The first one is a Beyonce album update. So first off, I want to preface that I actually listened to the album.
Okay, what do you think?
It's definitely stylized. It's like ballroom. There's some like Afro beats in there. It's not what I'm used to. Let's just say that. I was like, okay, I mean, I can like dance to some of this, but to your point, I really miss her range, her vocal range for sure in this album.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because, you know, I was listening through the whole album and I actually liked how the songs transitioned on the album. I thought that was really cool. Well, cause it's like, I feel like not
listen to that.
I know you didn't.
I
was into that. But other than that, there wasn't like a major hit that I was like into out of the whole album. Like I couldn't say that there was one song that really stood out to me. Do I think it's her best work? No. Do I think it's good? Sure. Do I understand like the cultural relevance of the music that she chose? Sure. However, I really want to understand where this trend came from of like the electro ballroom resurgence that's all of a sudden coming out. Because Drake's album was kind of similar too.
You know, someone else mentioned that to me yesterday, Jill. My friend Jill, she said, she was just like, you know, a lot of people were hating on Drake for a very similar album.
Yeah.
But
I don't know why it's becoming popular. Like why is this trend becoming a trend in music?
I don't know the answer to that.
I know, but it's more the questions that come upon my head.
yeah, like, I don't know. I don't hate it. I just, to your point, like, I'm like, nah, okay. Well, good.
Like, I don't think I'm going to go back to this album and like listen to it, you know, out of joy.
No,
Just, it wasn't my thing.
no. I didn't love it. As you know, I just want to hear another irreplaceable. I want another to the left, and I'll be happy. Well, I went to the right, but to the left. Okay. So what are the updates now that you've heard it? What are your thoughts? Tell us what's going on in the news.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that have come out. So I'm going to talk about the first two because I think they're somewhat related. So number one is sort of an update from last week about the Kelis thing. So Beyonce removes Milkshake from Energy after Kelis called her out for theft. And then the second thing was, and this was interesting, Beyonce removes Ableist slur from Heated after backlash. So first one, I'm going to give a little bit of room to breathe. And for a reminder for our listeners, essentially, Kelis had found out that Milkshake had been sampled on Beyonce's new album, Renaissance, and she hadn't been informed about it. And so she had gone on sort of this, like, I think it was Instagram Live or Instagram or TikTok rant, essentially talking about some of the petty drama in the music space with her and the producers of the song, et cetera, how she wasn't informed and basically shitting on Beyonce for being all about women empowerment and still not coming to her to ask for the rights for the music. And so with that, apparently Beyonce removed it entirely, which, okay, Beyonce.
So apparently, though, Kelis was not a writer. Kelis did not own the rights to Milkshake.
I know.
So I didn't realize that, and that's on me for not doing, good enough research last week. Bitch, you don't own shit. She doesn't have to come to you. And like, I'm so sorry, but Kelis, like, where do you come from to just start accusing people and shit? Like, I don't know. I think she's just trying to be relevant, to be honest with you. Like, she's like a chef now. She's not even a music artist at this point. So it's like, I think she's just trying to get her name back in the media and like generate followers or whatever it is and just like start shit.
Maybe,
like she doesn't rightfully have a say in who gets to sample her album. That's how I feel about it.
I think that it's interesting because from what I understood of her rant is that this is all happening due to petty drama between her, Pharrell, and I think it was just her and Pharrell in particular. But yeah, I mean, do I think she's doing this for attention? Not really. Or maybe, potentially, maybe she got a few pointers from Kris Jenner. Who knows? I just thought it was interesting. I do think that it's interesting, though, that Beyonce actually moved forward and removed it. That's what I thought was
But you know what? I kind of feel like that's like a Beyonce thing to do. Beyonce's like, you know what? I'm too fucking cool for this. This album sucks anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this shit.
Okay, so which brings me to
sort of seen as a classy one.
Well, here's the other thing too, because
classy. Sorry.
So here's the interesting thing, though, which is kind of ties into our second thing, is like, I feel like given that she also made another change to the album, right? It kind of goes to like, somebody had asked this question kind of in the media, and I've been seeing this comment kind of swirling around on socials. Does it make sense for artists to kind of go back and change their work if it offends people? And like, where do we draw that line?
I think you draw the line at wherever the artist is comfortable making amendments. And I think that if you're Beyonce and you want to be seen as classy and you don't want to fucking deal with drama and you don't care about the song that much, you remove it. I think if it was like her opus and she was like, oh my God, this is the greatest hit I've ever made, she probably would have sang a different tune. Because at the end of the day, like Kelis had literally no legal stand or leg to stand on. I think, I don't know. I think it's literally like, it's completely up to the artist. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it's like sad that there are people who feel pressured to like do shit against their will? Absolutely. But I also think like grow a set. But I also think Beyonce, like she can't have felt that strongly about either of these songs or the lyrics or whatever it was, that she just literally less than a week after it's been released was like, oh, JK, I'm going to change it. Like, no.
So here's sort of the I want us to get into the second article because the The reason why this question kind of came up was because she also removed an ableist slur from Heated, where she said spaz. And what's interesting is a few weeks ago, Lizzo had gotten into hot water because one of her songs said also stated spaz, right? And I had no idea that this was an ableist slur at all. I also don't know if I should be saying it on the podcast, but I'm quoting it as in quoting it from the article and from the songs. But apparently people were saying that it's an ableist slur because it refers to someone who is actually disabled, who has I think it's called, the term is called spastic dialgia or dialgic or something along those lines. It's a medical term. And so it's referring to people who are disabled. And so Lizzo got so much backlash for it that she went in and was just like, she apologized and she actually changed the song immediately. She re-recorded a new version without that term. And so it's so insane to me that Beyonce felt that, and her team felt that it was okay to have literally like 3 weeks after the fact or a month after the fact, think that it's okay to release this song that so many people were up in arms about.
Yeah, I think that's just bad PR. At the end of the day, I think it's just like poor management. Maybe Beyonce was like, "Hey, I'm Beyonce. I'm Queen Bee. I'm immune to these things."
That's what a lot of people thought.
You know what? Beyonce was put back in her fucking place by cancel culture. And you know what? I don't know. Take that for what that is. But I don't know. I think you're never going to please everybody. But again, I also think Beyonce is like very anti-drama. She's anti-conflict. Her husband literally cheated on her. We all fucking knew. She stayed quiet on it. So I think maybe her solution and her answer to the problem these days is just don't have a problem. Just deal with it.
That's fair. But if she didn't want to have a problem, she should have removed it from the beginning and not released it.
I to your point, I'm kind of surprised, but I don't doubt that Beyonce or someone was like, "Oh, she's Beyonce. No one will have a problem with it."
Well, that's the thing, is a lot of people were coming out and saying like, why would you think that it's okay? You or your team think that it's okay to release this song, knowing what Lizzo had to go through, knowing the backlash of it, and understanding how deep rooted of an ableist slur that it is. Did you think that you were immune to it? Which then a lot of people are now shitting on her for thinking that she's above it all. So that's been interesting to see as well.
I also think that like at the end of the day, guys, like everybody thinks that they're above it all. Like I fucking think I'm above it all some days. You know what I mean? Not today, but some days. I don't know. People just also want to hate. We know this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, was it dumb? Absolutely. But like, hey, she fucking shoot your shot, right? She shot her shot.
She shot her shot. Which brings me to my next point, though, which I thought
is there another point about this?
Oh, there is. So shortly after Beyonce removed all these things, Monica Lewinsky came out and basically wants Beyonce to remove that lyric about her from Partition. So it's like, he Monica Lewinsky doll on my gown. By the way, fucking love that song. But which once again brings me to the point of like, when do we like cross that line for artists? You know?
I think that it depends on what the artist's tolerance for drama is. And my inclination is that Beyonce doesn't have a very high tolerance for drama. I think she's so classy in that sense. I think Monica Lewinsky, like, no offense.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, to be honest, I'm a little too young to really remember all the details of all of that.
She gave Clinton a BJ.
Oh no, I know who she is. I know what happened. But my point, I mean, like the details around, like, was she pressured? Blah blah blah, all that shit, whatever. But like, what I'm going to say is like, she's been the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
So if you're going to like choose this now, 30 years later, about 30 years ago, right? 25, 30 years ago.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Maybe 25. But regardless, it's just like, I don't know. Again, I'm interested to see what Beyonce does, but I also think at the same time, like people need to like grow a set and get over themselves a little bit. Like, hey, bitch, if you like didn't want to be the butt of someone's joke, you maybe shouldn't have gone down to the president of the United States that was married. I don't know what else to say.
I also think it's kind of funny too, because like, I mean, don't get me wrong, but like if Beyonce decided to name me in one of her songs, I would be here for it. You know what I mean? Like, think of like the level of like PR that she got after that.
I mean, you could say, oh, she was traumatized. Does she want PR? Blah, blah, blah.
That's
but also,
true.
But you wrote a book.
That's true.
You wrote a
That's
fucking book
true.
and told your damn life story to FX. So I personally have a problem. Like, here's the thing. I have a problem with people who are like, I can monetize on this, but you cannot. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
No, that's unfortunately not the way the world works. And like, there are people in this world that manage to keep themselves. If you want to be low key, be fucking low key.
Mm-hmm.
But it just sounds very hypocritical to me. I don't know. I'm inclined to think she's not going to do that. She also didn't necessarily, she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like she didn't actually insult Monica Lewinsky. Although I don't know what the legality is. Are you able to like name somebody in a song or another?
I mean, unless their name is copyrighted, I guess, or trademarked.
Oh, so you're fine. That was your mistake, Monica. If you were smart.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she did copyright her name. I have no idea. That's just my assumption. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. Do not look at me or Alina for legal advice, y'all.
Well, I mean, or come to me. I feel like I give pretty sound advice, but probably better not. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't know. What do you agree?
I mean, I feel like she's just jumping on this train, this like backlash train, right? This like cancel culture train around the ableist slur, the like drama with Kelis. And she's just potentially taking a page out of Kris Jenner's book right now by jumping onto this train herself. But yeah, I mean, I love the song. I love that lyric, not gonna lie.
You know what it is?
There's a part of me that feels for her because I get it. Like she was probably like when her scandal went down with Bill Clinton, the world was a lot different back then. There was a lot of victim shaming, right? A lot of shaming of the woman, let's say. Like, I don't think Bill Clinton was really given as much grief as she was. Like, I wonder how much her career had been affected by this, especially in politics. Like how she was just treated in general, right? Like you essentially got into an affair with the most powerful man in the world.
And you got caught.
Yeah.
Do better. I don't know. I'm actually thinking about this more. I'm kind of like, you know what? Maybe she's trying to make a buck in this economy.
In this economy?
In this economy.
In this economy? Can't blame her for that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm about to try a lot more than just suing someone in this economy.
God damn. Okay, so this one.
Okay. Talk to me.
I love Neo. Who doesn't love Neo?
I love Neo. So Sick comes on. I'm a happy fucking camper.
Oof. Yes. I feel like that was like, early 2000s. Like he was just coming out hit after hit. Like, yes, so Neo.
Good. So good.
But apparently Neo is not a faithful man. His wife is filing for divorce. Apparently she had filed for divorce, I think, early 2020, but they reconciled. Now she's filing for divorce again. And she has come out and said that he had a kid with another woman. Neo, you looking a lot like Tristan Thompson right now, sir.
I know. Shades of Tristan.
Like, damn.
I mean, I don't really know what there is to say about this besides I was
it's
shocked.
Just messy. Yeah, I think it is.
No. I was really shocked though. I was like, whoa, your lyrics, you come across as such a great guy.
He does. And the way he talks about his wife in public too, like, and the way that they come off, like I feel like his PR team has done a really good job of putting out this image of like him being a great
family
guy,
man.
him being really a married man, a family man. And so I think to see this, I was really disappointed, like really disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be honest. I feel like I haven't seen that much about them in the media, but just I actually love Neo, like love him. And so I think it's just very disappointing, but I think it's disappointing in general, right? Like the fact that anybody would think that that's okay. And I
Yeah.
don't understand that. Like, I genuinely don't. For me, it's like, hey, if you're not happy, let's talk about it. And either we can figure this out or we don't. And if we don't, let's go our separate ways. Why people feel like they need to just deceive and shit like that.
And not just that, but to like, you just decided not to wear a condom. Like, it's one thing to cheat, okay, but it's another thing to father
Fair.
a child with another fucking woman while you're fucking married. If you're gonna cheat as a married man, at least have the fucking decency of putting a goddamn rubber on.
But what if he did have a condom on? It happens. Rachel Ross, hello. Emma was born 97% effective.
How much do you want to bet that it wasn't a broken condom?
No, I'm sure. Which maybe we'll do an episode on that, on safe sex. But today, yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I can't even imagine what that feels like, especially, you know, having I don't know. I can't. I think it's awful. I feel very sorry for her, but you know what? She's about to drag his ass through the mud and he's going to get.
Oh, 100%.
I hope she finds some solace and making sure the world knows what kind of a man he really is, which is so sad because I love him.
I still have such a lot of rage about this. Like, so much rage. Like,
I don't have that much rage about it.
No, I just have rage about the concept of like men who decide to cheat, but then don't even have the common decency or respect for their significant other to be like, I'm at least going to try to like hide this because I know that it's going to hurt you, you know?
We're looking at you, Tristan. We're looking at you.
We all know how I feel about Tristan. Like,
I think everyone feels that way about Tristan, except Khloe apparently, but you know.
But for reals. But like, that's the thing is, it's like, I don't condone cheating at all. But like, for me, I'm thinking like, if I were a dude and I was going to cheat on my significant other that I cared about and loved, which by the way, I would never even get to that point. First off, that if I was, I would still be doing my utmost to like protect her from ever finding out. You know what I mean? And then for you to most likely have had unprotected sex with a woman and then like having the chance of getting her pregnant, like you clearly just did not care about your wife.
Like, and I feel like, okay, yes, I agree with everything you're saying, but I also think after like, let's say it's, how old is the kid? Did they say?
No, not from what I remember.
Let's assume the baby's young. After 4, 5, 6, 7 years of this, you're gonna start to get cocky. You're gonna start to be like, oh, well, I got away with it for the last 8 years or 7 years or 6 years, whatever it was.
I just
don't need to wear a rubber, right? The one time that you don't, you do it. Yeah, you get pregnant.
Why get married then?
Girl,
just like don't fucking do it.
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
That's the other thing that just irritates the shit out of me. Like, why do you feel the need to get married and to like set someone up like that in life, thinking that you're their life partner when in actuality you just want to hoe out? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we can have a whole nother episode on that. Maybe we should, but for today, Neo, you're a fucking dirtbag. Want to hear? Here's the thing: he's not denying it, so good for him for not trying to deny it.
Yeah, at least he's admitting it, but still, just upsetting. I will never listen.
I'll spit on him when I see him in Studio City. He apparently lives right over here. Were you going to say you're not going to listen to his music anymore? Stop it.
Well, like every time I'm going to hear his song now, I'm just going to be like disappointed because
oh my God.
There are times where, you know, I feel like in particular when it comes to like fidelity and stuff like that, maybe I'm just more sensitive to it, but I'm now going to have like a stain of knowing his infidelity and it won't be the same. It won't hit the same. It won't hit the same.
Can I say something about this? Like people who are like, oh, I'm going to boycott XYZ.
I'm not boycotting.
I'm going to not listen.
I'm just saying if I hear it, it's not going to hit the same way, you know?
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just not that deep of a person. I'm just a surface level bitch. But to go back to my point, right? Like for me, I'm like, oh my God, you think that you not giving them one Spotify stream per day is really going to impact anything in their lives?
No, fuck no.
Okay. But I just want to be very clear. Like that annoys me where I'm just like, hey guys, guess what? They're going to continue on with their lives and you're the only one that suffers in this equation. If you are so offended that it bothers you, like, okay, fine, I guess. But like people who think that that's actually going to do anything and evoke any kind of change in that person, like, maybe think about that. Just think about that. They didn't know you
Yeah,
before.
I just think about one of the more extreme cases, or most recent extreme cases, was around Joe Rogan and Spotify, when people were like, "Oh, I'm canceling my Spotify membership," and then a whole bunch of other people. I think, was it India Arie? I can't remember. Like a whole bunch of musicians were like, "I'm going to remove my music from the platform as a way to protest." But then, literally, Joe Rogan is still making bank. Spotify still hasn't, and Spotify is still making bank. Like, I just want to preface that. And then the people who were supportive of freedom of speech were just like, "Oh, I'm now going to go and like support Spotify because I believe in freedom of speech," or whatever it was. And I thought that was a really interesting case of people thinking that, they could just like not listen to people. But when in actuality, like, let's be real, they're still going to go on with their lives, still make the millions that they're making, et cetera, et cetera.
God, I hope we make it to the point where we can be canceled.
I mean, considering the level of haters that we see in our comments, I could see it happening. Yeah, 100%.
Well, on that note, what's next?
On that note, okay, so now we have our favorite segment of the day, our Kardashian family update. And there are 2 updates here. Well, actually 3 now. One is Kylie Jenner fires back after unsanitary lab photos. I don't know if you saw this.
I did.
The second one is, this is an old article that I picked out, but I think it's pretty much official now that heat is over after 9 months. Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson. And then the last one is apparently Tristan and Khloe have welcomed their second child into the world.
I saw a meme today and it was like Kris Jenner, after
working hard
after Khloe announces the birth of her second child with Tristan on the same day that Kim breaks up with Pete or whatever it was. And it was just like, a picture of like Kris, like chilling with her martini glass or whatever it was. God, the woman works hard, but where do we start? Okay, first of all, Kylie.
Let's start with Kylie. Let's give context. Let's start with Kylie and let's give a little context. I think it's important. So for context, there was I don't think he was a cosmetologist, but he's some sort of scientist, like a makeup scientist. And he saw some photos that Kylie Jenner had posted of her, with her hair out and, touching makeup ingredients with her hands, messing in a lab where apparently her makeup is being made. And he basically went off saying like, that's extremely unsanitary to like have her, with her hair out and touching this stuff in a lab where her makeup is essentially being created. And Kylie then came out and was just like, I would never put my customers at risk. And she basically said that this was a lab that was set up to take fucking content in, which, bitch, how much money do you fucking have that like you can easily magically create sort of somewhat like authentic lab recreation with like all of these types of ingredients and like equipment just to take photos for content? What?
Well, I mean, we know the answer to that is.
I know. It drives me up the fucking wall, this family.
So I was just going to say that, like, I just feel like Kris needs to get her kids in check because I actually feel like they're digging themselves deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And, again, in this economy, to be telling people that you straight up are like duping them into thinking, oh, that she's a hard worker and she's, in the lab working on shit or whatever. And she's like, no, that's just my lab for content creation. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that to me, like my reaction was, oh, so once again, you're a fake piece of shit. You don't actually work on, your products or any of the above. Like you probably just buy them off of ColourPop, but I didn't say that. I don't know. I just feel like I think Kylie specifically more than any of them. Well, I more than any of them, I think is just so fucking out of touch with reality. I think she has been for a long time, right? She was the first one that I think really dramatically changed her face and her body. Mm-hmm. I think that she is the first one that's been kind of like publicly, like just the way she spends money, like for someone her age, just her behavior, I think is just very immature. And,
was also the baby too. So imagine
Exactly.
growing up in a family where they were already really rich at that point. Like at least the others in the family were at an age where they
had like $5 million.
well, yeah. I mean, yes, their dad was a lawyer.
Were comfortable.
They were comfortable, but it wasn't exorbitant amounts of wealth. You know what I mean? So like we've kind of seen their evolution, and they can at least like look back and remember like how their life was, even though it wasn't down in the dumps or anywhere like, you know, where you actually had to claw into where they were at. But at least there was some form of normalcy. But I think for her, she never really had that.
Yeah, I think she was like 7 or something like that when they first started on the air. But yeah, no, I mean, I think she's a monster, and I think that she needs to be reined in. And I just feel like people are going to be, I don't know, maybe not. Because I do know a lot of people that still love the Kardashians, but I personally feel like they're out of control, and I think they're so out of touch with reality. And once again, Kylie like is in the media for doing stupid shit and just, I don't know. I'm tired of her. Like, I'm so tired of her being like, oh, this is just for me to play around and to make content. Like,
yeah,
that's literally your life. Your life is fake. Your life is your fraud in my eyes. And I hope that people start to see that.
Fraud.
But,
okay. So other than Kylie's hot mess of fucking lab, it's come out that Kim and Pete have officially broken up, but beforehand, a lot of fans were poking and prodding and deep diving into some clues where they essentially think that, or they knew in advance of sort of it being officially called out, that they were broken up. Apparently, Pete was at some like cast party for his new movie, Bodies. And he was looking real single. According to fans, the way that he was acting real single. And apparently Kim was like, you know, apparently writing some comments, I think, on her Instagram story, insinuating to the breakup. And so a lot of people had been calling out in advance. But I think what's also interesting is part of this rumor mill is also saying that she may be getting back with Kanye, which brings me to my point that I think Kris Jenner has been working real hard, and all of this was a PR scheme to begin with.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think that they definitely had sex. I'm sure that it was fucking great. But at the end of the day, like, did you actually think that they liked each other? Did you actually think that that Kim Kardashian was going to end up with Pete Davidson? Did you actually think that Ariana Grande was going to end up with Pete Davidson, like point blank?
Here's the thing. I don't think anyone is surprised by this. I don't think anybody thought that they were ever going to end up together, because we all knew, and we called this out before, that essentially he was a rebound. We knew this. He was the funny, easy guy, the young guy who wouldn't make her life difficult, that like kept it fun and light. You know what I mean? And like Kim's in her 40s, you know, she's probably really horny right now, because we talked about this in our previous episode where like, you know, women in that age group are like their sex drive is at its peak, you know, and he's in his 20s, as we both know, which pisses me off every single time we mention it, that Pete fucking Davidson is younger than me. I still can't wrap my head around it. And he's in his sexual prime. So you know what? Good for her. She got some good dick. Am I sad that they broke up? Not really.
I don't think anyone's sad.
I don't think anyone's sad about it. I think they, you know, they're both living their lives the way that they want to live it. I am a little concerned about Pete, though, at this point, and I'll tell you why. I think it's really interesting that he has essentially dated some really hot women, some really like out there women in this industry, and they're short-lived, real short-lived. At some point, when does it become a red flag? At what point?
Remember when they first started dating, and we talked, I think we literally like went through, he dated Ariana Grande. They were engaged after like 5 months, and then he dated like,
didn't he date Kaya Gerber?
Kaya Gerber. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like Pete Davidson maybe is just like not as serious as we all think he is about these relationships. I also feel like he maybe uses them as stepping stones, right?
I was going to say, hear me out. What if this is all part of like some like Hollywood thing? Because remember, we talked about this before where apparently, what's her name? Oh my God, I'm blanking out on her name. The one who does the really, Julia Fox? Is that her name?
Oh, yeah.
Julia Julia Fox, yes. How her and Pete Davidson had done a photo shoot together as Barbie and Ken. I think I told you this. And it was really, really strange. And people were pointing it out like, oh, these two have worked together before. And it's really interesting because there were like a lot of blinds out there saying anonymously that Julia Fox had essentially like signed up as part of an agreement to date Kanye right? As like a stepping stone in her career. I wonder if the same
backfired
thing
on her, for the record.
It really did. But also I think it's interesting that like, I wonder if that's the case with Pete too. Right. Because every time he's dated one of these famous women, it's been sort of another stepping stone. And I think with him and Kim dating, he's leaving SNL, which used to be his bread and butter, and has gotten like other projects since then.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely think that she obviously hooked it up.
100%. I wonder if he's part of this like Hollywood. I mean, I'm going to call this my own conspiracy theory, but like there are people who will anonymously say that this is like a common thing where like people will date people based off like PR.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that for a second. I'm actually reading a book right now. It's called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And it's about like a star. She was like a starlet in the 50s and 60s. And she, again, like in the book that, you know, they talk about how they like arrange for a date for her and someone just like get her in the media and stuff like that. I wouldn't doubt that. It never made sense. It just never made sense.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. I think that he has probably gotten to the level of celebrity that he wants now, right? Like Ariana Grande, super fucking famous, but I feel like in a more juvenile demographic. Yeah. Then he dated a bunch of like other people to kind of keep him out there. He did the whole like cougar thing with Kate Beckinsale, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, Kim Kardashian, man, you walk her down a 2 or 3 red carpets? Mm-hmm. Bro, now suddenly we've all seen you in a suit. We've seen you with a spray tan. Mm-hmm. You're on the Kardashians. Yeah, you're set. I think he's a less smarter than we all think he is.
Oh, 100%.
He acts like a moron, 100%. But I don't know.
But the other thing, though, to note, too, is like he literally, I mean, I don't know if, like, let's say he falls in love later on in life. Like, I don't know if he'd be able to, like, get that. I'm just speaking from my own experience and how I would feel. You have gotten every woman that you've ever dated, like, their name tattooed on your body. And on top of that, you got yourself branded by another woman. And you had her kids on your butt. Like,
he's so stupid.
How could I ever take you seriously after that? You know what I mean?
I think he'll be fine.
Like, I'm just saying, the dude is red flags. Just red flags.
I mean, oh yeah, he is for sure. But did anybody see The King of Staten Island? If that wasn't a red flag for Pete Davidson, I don't know what else was. So he'll be fine.
He will be. Okay. But still, just interesting. Okay, so lastly, Khloe and Tristan, baby, congrats.
Congrats.
To her, like she now has the baby that she wanted, right?
Nope. I don't give her congrats.
Oh, that's
I mean, I pray to God the baby's okay. I pray that the baby's healthy.
Congratulations to her. She wanted another baby. You know she wants a big family. So congratulations to her. Sure. I will also say, though, you know, I hate the situation she's in. I can understand why you don't want to give congrats because of the situation that she's in, because it probably feels really shitty.
Yeah, I mean, fine. Congratulations on the baby, but hey,
I love that you begrudgingly are saying it.
But like, okay, cool. Also, like, sorry that you have to deal with this piece of shit in your life. Like, for real, forever. Like, I mean, he was in her life forever anyway. And again, you know, she said he's a good father, blah, blah, blah. But like, also, you think that this kid's never going to find out that he was conceived and then a month later his mom found out that his dad secretly fathered a baby? You know what I'm saying? Like,
we all know he was a piece of shit, though. Like, this kid would have still found out that their father was a piece of shit, even without him fathering another child with another woman while they were together. Like, there has been plenty of evidence prior to this. So, like, she still would have battled that no matter what. But yes, I do understand what you're saying. It would have been like another notch against him. But trust me, there was plenty before that.
And just, I guess you're right. I mean, he this is not his first indiscretion. I'm interested to know the baby's name. So it's a boy for our listeners who maybe live under a rock. So Khloe and Tristan welcomed their baby via surrogate. It was at some point this week. They dropped the news shortly after they dropped the news that Skeet broke up.
Jenner,
yeah, right. Oh my God.
Hard.
I'm kind of surprised though. Like, do you think that maybe it really was legit and that's why she wanted to like kind of cover up the story with Kim, with Khloe's break news? Because I don't know. I kind of feel like the standard Chris model would have been to like release it on succeeding days or something like that, so that like they both got their moment in the sun.
Yeah, no, I think that this was meant to be.
Oh, it was it was choreographed, right? Nothing is ever fucking coincidence in their lives. But I think I'm happy for her that she gets the baby that she wanted. I hope to God that this poor kid he's going to be fucked up either way. But like, I hope to God they have the best. I'll give you Debbie's number, that you have the best of the best in regards to therapy, because the child will need a lot of it. I hope that what?
No, I'm just laughing because it's facts. You know what I mean?
I'm just interested in saying, like, how many more babies are they going to try to have together? Like, is this it? Is she going to try to have a baby with another
I would hope
guy?
none. Like, just be done with this fucking man. Like, he is a piece of shit. He should not be
he's
rewarded.
Already in her life.
Yeah, I know he's already in her life, but like, he should not continuously be rewarded with like beautiful blessings of children when you clearly don't respect this woman, don't care about this woman. Like, your genes should no longer be mixing with her genes to produce any offspring. Like, go and fuck whatever you want away from this group. Sorry,
So
you know how much I feel about this dude. I want him to just like, I want to Thanos him, like just snap and he's gone. I just can't.
So I think he's an absolute asshole, but I also think at a certain point, like we have to hold Khloe accountable for
100%,
stuff too, right? Like
100%.
He's a dick, he's a douchebag, but like, hey, she keeps on fucking taking him back. So I don't know. I'm a very firm believer in once a cheater, always a cheater. I have a lot of feelings about that. I'm knock on wood, to my knowledge, I've never been cheated on. I also never really dated anyone, but before Mark, but I don't know. I think like she wanted, and I think there's obviously trauma and shit like this. She probably needs a therapist, but I feel like she wanted someone so bad. She wanted a family that she was willing to kind of turn a blind eye to it. It's just unfortunate for her that she's so public that she can't get away from it. But the baby, we don't have the baby's name yet, right?
Yeah.
What do we think it is?
Well, her first one is True.
What if it's like Thor?
Stop. No.
What if
I feel like she would go with like Honest, which his father was not. Like, she named her first child True because we're trying to instill truth in our marriage, or like in our relationship and in this child.
Maybe no. I think it's a T though, because True, Tristan. I have a feeling that it's a T.
Really? I don't know.
Thor. I'm gonna go with Thor. I think that's my guess.
That is
Trevor.
A terrible guess.
That's too normal.
No, it's too normal.
Wait, her sister named her fucking kid Wolf.
But then she retracted it.
Yeah,
and we don't know what her
stupid. I hate Kylie. I really hate Kylie so much.
Okay.
I think it's Thor. I don't know.
That's an awful name, Alina. That is just terrible fucking name. Terrible.
Is Chicago? Is North good? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but like, if you're going to go with True, you're not going to name your second child Thor.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I have an insider scoop. I don't know.
Lies. Okay, I'll let you have this one. Oh my God. What if it ends up being Thor? Oh my God. I will never hear the end of it from you. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I think that we should definitely do a poll to find out what people think it is, because I think it's a T name for sure.
Okay. I'll give you that.
I don't think it's Trevor.
I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like if she went with True, right? Like, I feel like she would probably play on that theme continuously, but who knows? I have no idea.
That would be weird.
Who knows? I mean, there's Kardashian family.
Truth, honesty in that life. So
On that note, we're going to go on to our last article of the day.
Oh my God, there's another one. What else are we talking about? I thought we were done.
There is. Dane Cook. You know who Dane Cook is, right?
Yeah.
Comedian. He was like really popular way back when
I was in college.
He got engaged to his girlfriend, Kelsi Taylor. And we have found out that apparently he started dating her when she was a teenager. She was 18. And I want to just preface that he's 50. And she's like, what, 23?
So,
yeah.
First of all, I think, I don't know what to say. Like, do I think that's fucking weird? Absolutely. Do I think it's disgusting? Probably. Yeah. Well, yes, I do. But like, she was legal when they came out.
Here's the thing. My whole thought process about this, and I could be very wrong, but this is out of my own experience and understanding, is that typically older men will go after younger women because they can shape them and mold them into what they want, right? Can you remember? Do you remember how impressionable you were at 18? Right? How like naive you were in regards to like the formalities of the world, the way the world
Fair.
worked?
Okay, fair.
You know what I mean? And so to hear that there's like such a massive age gap between
I think
them,
it's creepy as fuck. Can you imagine that old dick when you're 18? That's disgusting.
I can't.
Ugh.
She is 23. And here's the thing. We both got married pretty young, right? But like also we were also closer in age to our significant others. You know what I mean? She's getting married young, but she's also only known him since she was 18. I hate to say it, I want everyone to be happy in life, of course, but I don't think this marriage is going to last very long.
I'm sure it won't.
Just being honest. And B, I think she's probably going to get like really sick of old dick and be like, I want to explore my options out there.
I'm sure she will. No, to your point, like I feel like it's probably a less conscious effort to find a woman who is impressionable and moldable. I think that there's definitely validity to that, but I feel like it's not like you're like, ooh, let me mold her. I think that it's just like, you know, if you're a rich guy and, you know, there is a younger girl that's interested in you, like, why the fuck wouldn't you consider it, right? Like, I'm not saying it's not creepy. I want to be very clear. Not saying it's not creepy. Not saying it's not weird. Not saying it's not gross. Not saying I would want to deal with old dick. What I'm saying is that if you're given the option and someone is even remotely interested in you, like, you're going to go for the fucking 45-year-old vagina, or you're going to go for the 18-year-old vagina? No.
So
like,
you're talking about
honestly.
like physically.
Yeah. I just feel like it's like, yeah, like if the opportunity presents itself to you, and sadly, I think there are a lot of girls out there that are like, ooh, old guy, he's rich, he'll take care of me, blah, blah, blah. Because what are the fucking guys that are even 25 when you're 18 doing? I assure you they're not taking care of you in most cases. So I think a lot, like, you know, when I was younger, when I was 18, I was like, oh, I want to find an older guy that's going to buy my drinks. I didn't do that till I was 21, Mom. No, but like what I'm saying, I want to find a guy who's going to be able to like pay for my cab home or whatever it is. I didn't, you know, I have not hooked up with someone older than me like that, but I just feel like I get it. I understand the interest on her part. I also understand the interest on his part. Do I think it's disgusting? Absolutely. But like, is it surprising to me? No. Is I guess what I'm saying.
There was a 20-year age difference between my dad and my mom. And it was quite obvious to me growing up that like the reason he picked my mom and the reason why they had issues later on in their marriage was because my mom, you know, kind of came into herself, you know, started becoming a lot more hard-headed. And he didn't like that. You know what I mean? And so for me, I just, based on what I've seen in life, and this is like across my family, because this has happened quite a few times, not just with my parents, but with others. It's just, this just doesn't sit well with me. Do I think that they could really be in love with such a massive age gap? Sure. Maybe. I don't know. Never say never. Never say never. But at the same time, like, if we're talking statistically here, I think it's creepy.
No,
I think
listen,
it's
it's definitely
old dude
creepy.
who wants someone who can, you know, mold them into what he wants and is easier to deal with. Someone who isn't like high maintenance or someone who knows themselves, right? That's just
I
my
definitely
2
think it's
cents.
creepy, and I'm sure again that there's some sort of like subconscious level of that, but I don't necessarily know that like older men are like, ooh, let me go and mold her. I think
Girl,
I think
no,
it's more
no,
like
no, no,
I
no.
think it's a matter of convenience. But Maddie, like
Girl,
your dad wasn't a celebrity, right?
girl, huh?
Your dad wasn't a
My dad
celebrity.
what?
I'm saying
Oh
your
no,
dad was not. But should you
no.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I just think like in this particular situation, I think it's like convenience. It's an option. Like, okay, I think that the psychology is there. I just don't think that it's
girl.
as like forefront.
Girl, let me tell you right now, there is this thing happening on TikTok where this man by the name of Andrew Tate, who is the most like misogynistic piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life, who is now going on every fucking podcast. He even went on Dave Portnoy's podcast recently. And he is saying some wild shit, and he is like teaching a school called the Hustlers Club or whatever it's fucking called, or Hustlers University, where he basically is teaching men how to get younger women. And he has blatantly, like, flat out said that, like, who wants an older woman who's like experienced the world? Why not get them fresh and naive? So it's even happening at like our age group, and he's teaching this like mindset to other men within our age group.
Don't get me wrong.
Like, I think it is a very valid thing that like people are actually like consciously thinking of.
Maybe, but I also feel like as a celebrity that has the access to old, young, similar, it's different, right? I feel like there are like average Joes that have to seek that out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are going to be those rich older guys or whatever it is that are like, hey, I have money, I have power, let me go and leverage that against younger girls. But I also think like in the world of celebrity, I think it's also just like a natural, it's more accessible in general to people.
That's fair.
So I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm not saying it's not gross. I don't think he's attractive in the slightest bit. And she's a very pretty girl. Like, don't think that that's a coincidence, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that she's beautiful, can probably have a lot of very attractive, successful men, and yet she went for the 50-year-old comedian that's kind of washed up and not attractive. That's what I'm saying. But I guess in general, I think that it's more accessible, and therefore it's more accepted, and therefore it's more normal in that world than we can even understand.
Oh, sure. I agree. I can agree with that.
That's what I mean. But
fair enough.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I saw that and I was like, A, where the fuck has Dane Cook even fucking been?
I know.
And
I
B,
didn't know he was rich.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, well, he had like this whole thing where his brother stole like millions from him. Did you hear about this? And his brother's now in jail.
No.
Maybe he got released. I don't know. But his apparently, like, I guess Dane Cook at some point got canceled. I don't really fucking know. And then his brother stole like tens of millions of dollars from him. He was like his manager or was like managing the finances, and he trusted his brother. His brother did him dirty. And then he took his brother, like, had a lawsuit against him. His brother's actually in fucking jail.
Wow.
And now all of a sudden he's having some kind of like weird resurgence. And I was like, you haven't had a comedy special in how many years? This is strange. But when I saw that he was getting married, or, he got engaged, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I saw the age difference, I was like, oh no, that's real interesting. Like, that was like my thought process throughout all of that.
Again,
anyway.
I get it, but I think it's just, if you have the option,
why not?
I'm not surprised why he would be interested in someone younger. I think it's weird, but maybe he doesn't.
I don't know. I just think about it like reverse for us as women, like having some, like a younger dude. Like, I would be annoyed all the fucking time.
I mean,
like, I'd be so annoyed. That's interesting that it works for men, but not the other way around. But anyway, I digress.
Think it works. We digress. Anyway, I think that we need to wrap it up for the day.
I know. We had lots to talk about. What can I say, y'all?
There was so much shit. Kardashians were keeping us on our toes this week.
Seriously. I mean, the
Beyonce
devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works fucking harder. Damn. That woman.
It's amazing. I aspire to be her.
One day. She has a master class now. Did you see that? I'm going to watch it and I'll keep you updated on it.
Keep me updated. I didn't see that. I need to know.
Yes, I'll tell you all about it. Anyway, with that, we'll see you on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.